please.
Understood. Madam Chair is ready. You are live in 3, 2, 1.
Excellent. Good morning, everyone. This is the Affordable Housing Advisory Board meeting for Hillsborough County. And with that, I'll call the meeting to order and ask for a roll call, please. Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Overman,
Here.
Mark Rosenwasser, Connie Burton, Rick Lott, Sherry Donahue, Sherry Donahue. Okay.
Sherry's present. She may be muted, but.
Okay, I thought I saw her. Okay. Cody Powell,
Here.
Orlando Goods, Adam Harden, Sarah Combs,
Good morning, I'm here.
David Hollis, Catherine O'Donnelly,
Present.
Chrissy Nevis,
Present.
Elizabeth Strom, Cheryl Howell,
Here.
Nancy Takamori.
Here.
Thank you very much. It doesn't appear as though we have a quorum, do we, Nancy?
You do not.
Okay, well then we'll hold any motion votes until later on in the meeting in the event that others are able to join us. I also want to send best wishes and well wishes to Councilman Goods. He is fighting COVID and is still apparently pretty ill. So let's all put our prayers together for Mr. Good, as well as for those that are wrestling with COVID at the moment, given our numbers are pretty awful right now. Thank you all for joining us today. Really appreciate it. We have set aside 15 minutes for public comment. Do we have any sign-ups for public comment today?
No, ma'am, Commissioner, we did not receive any public comments for this meeting.
Okay, great. Great. Well, it's unfortunate, but it's good that we can move along. We can't approve the minutes until we have a full quorum. I see Adam Harden has joined us, so we have one more person, but I don't think that gets us there. With that, I'll move to the chairman's report. As many of you know, the governor did sign the budget, and I did get a short update from Ms. Storch, who is our legislative aide for the county. That data. The governor did actually approve a budget for the Sadowski funds. Originally there was allocated by the legislature $370 million towards the Sadowski funds. However, the governor did veto $225 million. Primarily of the SHIP funds. So those dollars are not going to be available under our traditional SHIP resources. In addition to that, $250 million from CARES Act fund he allocated, but they cannot be used in the same way that our SHIP funds are used. Additionally, I met with county staff on Friday to ascertain the amount of resources that we had set aside for rent payments and utility payments. Apparently, we stopped taking applications in May because we felt as though, or at least staff felt as though we had allocated and spent those monies. That turns out to not be true. So that program may be reactivated or take applications again to help those individuals that are in homes, renting their properties to be able to get additional assistance for rent and utilities. In addition to that, we're tracking the eviction notices through Remains Department as it relates to children and families. It's one of the programs that actually helps keep track of those families that possibly could become at risk and end up being involved in our foster DCF system. And so we've been tracking that. We've requested a report there to find out not only the number of evictions that have been filed, but ways that we can actually facilitate and match up those individuals that may need rental assistance, since that the application stopped being processed in May. Recently, there was a report in the Times that showed a real drop-off in the percentage of rent payments on time. So we clearly have individuals that are trying to stay in their homes, and we want to make sure that they're able to do so, which is why I'm working on that particular project. On the Community Land Trust Subcommittee met last week, and I believe, Sarah, that you were able to find yourself in a leadership role there. Is that accurate? I got bits and pieces of the meeting, but I did not participate vocally.
Yeah, I can give a quick report if you'd wish.
Please, would you do that for us, please?
Sure, absolutely. So we did meet and discussed just really kind of setting up this Community Land Trust kind of subcommittee and what that looked like, and really explored the options around land banking as well as a land trust, and discussed kind of looking into several models that have worked. And so that was kind of the homework for all of us on the committee, was to look at different models that were really working well, look at, you know, some of the other organizations, specifically Anthony, who is actually retired from Bright Community Trust, I believe that's the name, but their organization does community land trust and does it well. So reaching out to them to see if they could share with us a little bit more information, as well as the Florida Housing Coalition, who created that community land trust primer and is very well versed in, you know, what it takes to do that, and could present to the committee and have the committee just continue to learn a little bit more about these two important, you know, opportunities for us. We also discussed the number of properties that Hillsborough County has currently, and that was about 50 acres that Hillsborough County already owns, and kind of has a semi-land banking program right now that they have properties and then they put them out to RFP. So we asked for a listing and a mapping of those properties to see if we can get some sort of a strategy that was already linking to kind of build upon. And again, we said for the next meeting that the Florida Housing Coalition would hopefully be able to do a presentation for us. We also talked about the city, and they just completed or were in the process of completing their community land trust. So we thought it was pertinent to look at their structure and see if there was already some wins that we could take instead of recreating the whole wheel, which we thought was important. We discussed that there wasn't necessarily a specific time set that we were trying to adhere to, and that you know, our next meeting we'll be able to kind of dig more into what the specific goals and objectives are for this specific committee. But being the first meeting was really just an educational meeting to kind of everyone get on the same page and see how we can make some movement, you know, moving forward. And I think it was, you know, a great group of individuals on that committee, and I'm really excited about this opportunity because I think it's something that really works, and something that we should look into in regards to attainable affordable housing for Hillsborough County. That's our report.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much. And to put that in context, for all the committee members, as this subcommittee works on looking at ways that we can adopt or incorporate land trusts or, you know, or land grants in our overall affordable housing strategy, I would encourage each of the members to go to the Florida Housing Coalition on their website, or a series of webinars on land trusts. It can help with the language, it can help bring people to speed and understanding why this is a great tool for us to take advantage of, or a great strategy to incorporate in our work. In addition to that, the Board of County Commissioners are working on their comprehensive plan and our land use to provide various different strategies for really looking at ways that we grow in a way that allows for the affordable housing efforts to partner with our growth strategy and to make sure that we're doing two things. One, building resources for people to live affordably near transit that helps facilitate family budgets and business growth. And with an eye for protecting communities from gentrification. It is very difficult to do. It is going to take a concerted effort on all of our parts. But affordable housing needs to be part of that solution, and we can accomplish that by having an eye there. In addition to that, the Board of County Commissioners approved an equity profile to take a look in the mirror to see what we look like and how we approach equity in our community and how that impacts and what policies we need to address that either exacerbate inequities or promote equity. That's just getting started. We have not necessarily started taking our partners, but they're going to be many of our partners, our CDCs, our efforts in affordable housing, and those that are involved in affordable housing, as well as community groups, to take a look at how we can develop policies once that study is complete. So I just wanted to kind of make that ties into the Community Land Trust strategy. And then lastly, the AHAB Policy Subcommittee meets at the end of this month. I believe it's the 27th. Is that the date? I think we just got a note from Natasha confirming the date. But the notices for that will go out. And that particular policy subcommittee is taking a look at a couple of issues when it comes to restructuring or authorizing the allocations towards affordable housing and how we do that going forward. The reason this becomes important is because many of our affordable housing projects have the limitations associated with making affordable housing available when a project is developed has a timeline. Doesn't have to, but as a policy, we've typically had anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20 years that property needed to follow the affordable housing rules, in terms of the amount of rents that are charged. We need to look at that to determine how to best apply that, look at our growth strategy long-term, look at our transportation strategy and how that plays a part in it, and then look at how our policies work with those rental properties to see how we can actually work with them to maintain as much in the way of affordable housing properties as possible. This year, we've had a significant number of properties that have reached their 20-year agreement and have the ability to go market rate. So this subcommittee is taking a look at that in addition to other policies that we have in place. So that meeting is at the end of the month, and those that are on that committee, please make sure that you put it on your calendar so that we can move forward with that. If there are no questions regarding the legislative update, the Community Land Trust, nor the policy, we can move on to the director's report. Are there any questions? If so, please raise your hand. Seeing none, Cheryl Howe. Oh wait, Cody Powell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to, maybe you said it earlier and I just didn't hear it, but with the approved budget from the governor, how much of those funds are going to be coming to us, to our county, to the Sadowski Trust?
I believe Ms. Howe has that information in her head.
Right. I want to say, Cody, that that's not yet identified. The state is still working on their plan. I've been calling them daily. And so I know they're tired of hearing from me, but they are working on their plan. I'm hoping that they will have that plan completed at least by the end of the week. These are CARES funds that are set to expire at the end of the year. And so we're not sure yet, but we're one of the 5 largest counties. And so I'm positive that it's going to be a fair share of the pie. So.
Okay. All right. Well, squeaky wheel gets the oil, so keep it up.
This is Liz. I also have a question about the CARES money. Do we know anything about the regulations of how it's supposed to be spent? In addition to how much we're getting, I'm wondering what they're saying about any restrictions on how it's spent.
Ms. Strom, I am actually asking for a report in, it's not in this BOCC meeting, but I'll be asking for it in this BOCC meeting for a report on how we have, as a county, spent our CARES dollars. That report is due a couple of days after this BOCC meeting. So I know the county staff is working diligently to make sure that they're using it in the way that it needs to be used. Traditionally, or just across the board, no matter how the CARES dollars are allocated, they have to be directly related to COVID. So the documentation on how the dollars are spent or how the applications are processed, it has to confirm that how those dollars are spent is related to COVID. In addition to that, they also have to be spent by December 31st. So there is an active team of folks monitoring those resources on a regular basis and allocating them accordingly.
And I was referring to the new money coming through SHIP. Is that just treated as other CARES money that you'll spend in the same way, or it's coming through the Florida Housing Finance Corporation, I believe? And so I think they were just working on rules about how it should be spent. I'm just not sure whether they have rules and whether this new influx of money will just be spent the way the other money has, or does it have special earmarks or requirements?
Cheryl, do you want to speak to that more succinctly than I can?
Yes, I'm almost positive that it will have special earmarks and requirements, such as the money's being spent for families, 50% or maybe even 30% or below median family income, showing a direct impact to COVID-19, whether it be a loss of income, increase in expenses, how you justify that impact. It could be for certain sects of the population, but for the most part, or let me say, half of the money is set aside to be spent for rental and mortgage assistance, and the other half, they said, will be set aside for infrastructure type projects. I am not quite sure how that will all work out. We may use it for some long-term assets for very vulnerable populations, like our homeless population, so that we can create safer places to prevent the spread of COVID-19. So situations such as that would be addressed in their plan, but they would be given the directives and the justifications.
Thanks. And just one more question about the CARES money for rental assistance. Do you know when it's given out, are there any requirements put on the landlord to, let's say, not to evict the family for a certain amount of time? Or is it given to the landlord or to the tenant? I'm just wondering how we make sure that it's being used in a way that's going to be helpful to the people who need it.
Right now, all of those bugs haven't been worked out. The Florida Housing Finance Corporation has told me every single day that they are trying their hardest to get everything worked out. But as you know, the wheels of government move a little bit slower. They're moving at a faster pace than normal. And so we'll stay in continuous conversation with them. We are sending questions up. So if you have questions, send them to me, and they could very well be included in the frequently asked questions. And so they're starting that list right now, Elizabeth. I very much would appreciate any input or any questions, or any concerns that you or any of the other board members would have in regards to these fundings. Because we want to get the questions out there and prompt them to think about how this could impact our communities and our people.
Thank you. I will do that.
I'm really glad you asked that question because I've actually been working with my office's staff to address the issue of landlords that are not cooperating with the housing subsidy programs. They either won't send the information in or they won't accept the payment. We're going to reach out to the Bay Area Apartment Association to really speak with them about that policy, and then again, cross-reference that with our evictions list to discern if landlords are filing for an eviction are actually refusing payments, and then confirm that they are in fact actually operating in a good way. Code enforcement's pretty busy right now with the mask enforcements. But I think it's important for landlords to recognize that they have to follow the rules like everybody else. So our tenant laws don't make it easy for tenants to fight back when they are looking for ways to try and stay in their home. And we're looking at that as well. But these are not overnight solutions, but we're looking at where we can help facilitate avoiding the eviction process with all the costs that comes along with it and make sure that rent payments are made available for those that are eligible. Currently or previously, we had only 1 month's worth of benefit available. That was earlier in the year. I got it extended with staff's help and Mr. Merrill's approval to extend that to 2 months. And we're in the process of evaluating how much more we can actually extend it beyond that period of time. And because many of our eligibles are having difficulty getting their landlords to participate and take payment, we're having to look for creative ways of making sure people have what they need. In addition to that, there apparently requires 2 applications for rent and a separate application for utility, although it comes out of the same program. So we're looking at that as well to try and simplify the process. Because our citizens that are in this situation where they can't pay the rent and their utilities, those are one and the same frequently. And they've also had to deal with unemployment, which is a whole nother system. And internet access for a lot of our challenged communities also is difficult. So this situation has definitely uncovered, COVID has definitely uncovered our vulnerable communities and put them in a very difficult position. And so my office is working very hard with staff to look at ways that we can make it easier to be much more customer service focused in getting these resources out to our citizens. So it's not happening overnight. Our staff is exhausted and working very hard. But we were looking, now that these resources are, we didn't get it through the ship, but we do have resources to help. We were able to actually hopefully expand that program so that we can keep people in their homes as they adjust to what's happening in our community and try and stay safe. Okay, any other questions? Okay, Ms. Howell, would you like to offer us the director's report, please?
Absolutely. And I just want to add that the Affordable Housing Department is working very, very closely with social services on the rent program. We're also working very, very closely with the homeless department to be able to better plan out how we can create long-term assets in our community for our most vulnerable citizens. And we're also working very, very closely with Tampa Hillsborough Homeless Initiative as well in planning out these new COVID dollars. Now, under our recently approved Board of County Commissioner agenda items, we have been doing a considerable amount of work under COVID-19 activities. And so whether that be with agenda items so that we can budget the funds, making adjustments in the waivers that are coming out, making adjustments in our plans, and also utilizing funds for some of our current activities and adjusting our agreements as well to reflect some of the challenges that we've faced as a result of COVID-19. And so one of the things that we've done this past month is we went into a contract to purchase 28 units through East Tampa Business and Civic Association. And so that deal was completed this month. We are looking at shoring up our other agreements. And so we have a couple of other multifamily agreements that should come to the board in August. And so we're looking forward to that as well. We have our annual plan updates that we're working on. We're working on our 5-year consolidated plan with the Florida Housing Coalition. And we are continuously working on our capacity building with our nonprofits as well. So we have some smaller and some larger projects. I want to say University Area CDC along with Blue Sky Communities won out on an award for a multifamily project in the university area. We are also working on putting applications in at the Department of Economic Opportunity under CDBG MIT, and that's disaster recovery grants. We have put in our first phase already. We are preparing to submit our second phase, and our third phase will be submitted by August. We are projecting that we will submit well over $100 million in projects for the county, and so this could be a really big win for the county and for our contractors and for work and jobs for people in this county. And we have Michelle on the line. Do you have an update for monitoring and compliance, Michelle?
Good morning. This is Michelle Boone. I'm the compliance manager for affordable housing. As Commissioner Overman said, we do have properties that fall off for our LARAs, for our long land use restriction agreements. However, most of those properties, I just have to make sure that, most of those properties have other tax dollars or other public monies in them. So they're not quite lost, but we do follow them as we can. And then we are, like Cheryl said, we are getting at least 7 new multifamily properties coming online in the next year or so. East Tampa is an existing building, so those units are online now, as well as some of the most recent ones that we've completed. So as some fall off, we are getting new ones to kind of take their place, if not help with our population of those that need affordable housing. We continue to monitor all of those agencies, and when it's safe to do so, we will, work with code enforcement to get back into the, inspections of units and those type of things that we have not been able to do lately. But if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
And one of the things we've also done too in Michelle's division is that we have begun to ask that they extend their LURA, and so when they come to us and they need subordinations or they want adjustments in their agreements as opposed to just agreeing, we're beginning to ask for some of the harder things that certainly we see as a community need.
Thank you.
And Ms. Hollinger, are you on the line? Black? Any updates?
Currently muted, so.
Good morning, everyone. I think Cheryl has already given my updates about the new RFPs coming online, the new multifamily properties coming online, and Michelle has also repeated that. So no new updates from planning and reporting.
Okay, great. And the contracts division, Ms. Hartz?
Good morning. So I have a short update for you. Currently, there are 43 active projects that we manage under the contracts team, and those are including, but not limited to, public facility renovations, which include group homes, children's education centers, community park, adult special needs daycare centers, homeless family solution centers, education and workforce opportunity centers, and foster care facilities. We have 3 multifamily rehabilitation projects that will eventually, after construction, add 138 units to the affordable housing stock in the county. We have 5 single-family housing rehab projects, which benefit approximately 72 low-income homeowners, and 1 single-family construction project and 1 new construction multifamily housing project that will add an additional 112 units of affordable housing stock. We also have 3 land acquisition projects that will eventually result in affordable housing in use. We have 6 urban county partner infrastructure projects with the city of Temple Terrace and Plant City, and 1 down payment assistance project. So construction has been ongoing since COVID, as it has been considered an essential duty. So construction is ongoing on all of our construction projects. And our team works very closely with the compliance team to assist in providing any technical assistance and ongoing reviews to our subrecipients to make sure that the projects are running smoothly and are completed relatively on time given the circumstances and within the approved budget.
And Layla, how many homeowners receive assistance under our DPA program annually?
I'll have to get you the exact numbers, Ms. Howell, but we just processed over $700,000 worth of down payment assistance that directly benefit residents in Hillsborough County.
Okay.
Excellent.
And just FYI, that's about, they run from about $8,500 to $15,000 each.
That's correct.
Okay, great. And fiscal, Ms. Likely? Ms. Brackens, I apologize. Ms. Brackens, are you on?
Good morning. I'm here. Good morning. I don't have any updates. Mrs. Howell did a great job of giving us a status on the CARES funding. So I don't have any updates at this time.
Okay, great. And I'll move on to the Florida Housing Finance Corporation. As I said before, we are looking at about $120 million or so coming through for rental assistance. We have not made a determination on how we will deploy the funds here at the local level yet, and that is contingent upon some of the guidance and some of the regulations that the state puts around these funds. Is critically important that we get these funds out the door as quickly as possible. First of all, because of the timeliness involved in it, and secondly, because we want to ensure that our residents are safe and in stable housing conditions as well. And so last but not least, we put out a monthly newsletter. Angelo does an excellent job. He works in the planning division. He does an excellent job of updating us on our monthly newsletter. And we do so many different types of projects in affordable housing, not just multifamily or single family, but we work on public facility projects, community development projects, sidewalk projects, park projects. We do so many different things. And so this month we were focusing on Sunrise Children's Services, and it's a children's center renovation project. Just such a wonderful project. Once we get back to some normalcy and we can go out and visit some of these projects, I would certainly like to set up some visits for the AHAB board to come out and see some of the great work that's being done in the community. And I want to say that is my report, Commissioner. Are there any questions, any concerns, anything in particular you'd like to see me bring back?
So if there are any questions, please raise your hand so may I call and recognize you. Okay, seeing none, I just have one question. If you need a letter from me to the Housing Finance Corp to get some direction, or to ask for more direction, please let me know. But I know this committee is very concerned about given our numbers of unemployment, how quickly our rental assistance programs can get ramped up and whether those dollars will be available in addition to what the county has is going to be of utmost importance. Specifically in the
Right, and
so specifically in the area of rent and utilities.
yes.
TECO has extended their suspension of disconnection services to August 1st. And the way things are going with our current outbreak and high levels of community spread, the likelihood that we're going to return to a very well-functioning economy and people will be immediately employed and able to get their kids back to school during the month of August, it seems like a really big challenge at the moment. So planning for making sure that people aren't having to suddenly come up with 4 or 5 months worth of electric bills, along with the disconnection fee, and have their service turned off in August with no AC and no electricity in Florida is probably not a really good, safe thing to do. So I'm working very hard to try and make sure those kinds of events don't occur in our community. But if we could get some resolution from the Housing Finance Group, that would be pretty awesome so that we can plan accordingly.
Yeah, you know, in their defense, I just want to say that, you know, it's difficult to stand a program up this large in a week.
Sure.
So the announcement was made and then they began to scurry. So.
Right. No, there's no criticism there. It's just if we can share with them what we need, maybe that'll help them figure it out a little faster. But,
exactly. And that's what we're trying to do. So I want to encourage all of our board members that if you have questions, if you have concerns, send them in to us and we will send them up to Florida Housing Finance Corporation as one entity.
That's great. That's great. Thank you very much.
And I want to thank Sarah for her leadership on the subcommittee, and I look forward to meeting with the subcommittee for our policy group later this month. So
this month.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Do you want to review the monthly newsletter and then we can talk about future items? I'm not sure. We still don't. I don't think we have a quorum to approve the minutes yet.
Madam Chair, we do have a quorum.
We do. Excellent. Okay. Cheryl, why don't you cover the newsletter quickly and then we'll take a motion to approve the minutes for last month.
Okay, great. And as I said before, in our current newsletter, we have Sunshine Children's Services, and that is a children's center renovation. And you can see some of the before and after pictures. I mean, just excellent work that's being done out in the community for our most vulnerable residents. We have I had construction cost of $540,000 in this, and we had other funds of $200,000. It was a $740,000 project. We have some other featured projects that's on this list. We have Wallace Place is for youth aging out of foster care. We have Gardens at Donna Point, which was, we were slated to do an open house in March, but that was dependent by COVID-19, of course, and that's 24 townhome units over in East Tampa, just gorgeous units. Quest Overhill would be adding 6 units, and our Catholic Charities, the Palms at Catholic Charities was a rehab project. And so we're looking forward to another project with Catholic Charities as well. In our homeless assistance area, we were able to put together 27 units. For single family new construction, we had 12 units. Under our public facilities, we awarded $4.1 million with our urban county partners right now. We were looking to impact over 4,000 households with $612,000 under our down payment assistance program. We were able to assist 20 families with $300,000. Under our multifamily new construction, we were able to assist 112 units with $999,453. And on our owner occupied rehab, we were able to assist 43 households with $2.2 million. And so that is our newsletter for this month, ma'am. And I just want to thank you, Commissioner Overman, for all of your support and your guidance.
Well, thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate that. And the reason why we're looking at the CARES dollars and while that's wonderful to have and it has to be spent right away, I was really looking forward to having the SHIP dollars for an important reason, for the resiliency of our communities. A lot of our older communities are rented and homeownered, and we want to make sure that those homes can stand up to a hurricane, can stand up through the test of time so that people don't get displaced, and hold their value so that where improvements do occur in a community, it doesn't gentrify the community. So I was looking forward to having those SHIP dollars as that being part of our efforts. But currently we're on Plan B, so as a consequence of COVID. But in the meantime, we'll want to make sure that we reach back out to those that can partner with us on those improvement programs and see how that's done. And there's reasons that's important. Gentrification is a tough word, but it is very real. This week I read a article of a community of seniors in a senior residential community where the ownership had decided to sell the property and is basically telling a bunch of seniors in the middle of COVID to go find somewhere else to live. And that's with a relatively short period of time. There's a variety of reasons why that occurred. It's not in Hillsborough County that I'm aware of, but it does put programs that we work on, how important it is that we have those programs in place for our income vulnerable individuals. So the work that we're doing in Hillsborough County is going well, and I'm very proud of our team and our board for staying focused on that, but we still have work to do. As far as future business items, is there anyone that would like to offer a future business item or future agenda item for discussion for the month of August? Raise your hand if I don't see a raised hand button, but okay. You guys are really quiet. Okay, with that, assuming that we do still have a quorum, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes of June 8th, 2020. So moved by Sherry Donahue. Do I have a second? Sarah? A second by Sarah Combs. If there's no discussion or any edits to consider, clerk, can you please take the roll for the vote?
Okay, Commissioner Overman,
Yes.
Sherry Donahue, Cody Powell,
Yes.
Adam Hardin,
Yes.
Sarah Combs,
Yes.
David Hollis.
Yes.
Okay, and Commissioner Overman, was it you that stated yes earlier, or was that Ms. Donahue?
Actually, both of us were a yes. She had
Okay. Thank you.
We were both a yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, motion carried.
All right, great. Thank you very, very much. If there's no other future business, no other items, we are adjourned. Thank you so much for being here. Stay safe.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Stay safe.